trying to do different things all over the place, babes. Hi, my darling. How are we? It is morning time. I'm clearly not getting to bed early, but I'm working on it. We are doing a quick live. This is going to be like 30 minutes, just quickie, like a quick in and out, if you know what I mean. I just thought I'd come on and quickly share some thoughts that I've had today. So, first of all, I had to change my lunch reservation. And as I'm coming out of this restaurant, this lady comes up to me and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love your TikTok videos." And I'm like, "Really?" No, I don't go live daily. I try and go live on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I've not been very good. Anyway, so this lady, she says, "I love your TikTok videos." And I'm like, "Oh, you love my TikTok videos?" Keep in mind, I'm in Indonesia. Okay, so for someone to just be like, "Oh, I love your TikTok videos," all the way over here are just like, "Oh." And I'll be honest with you, the last time I was in the UK last year, April, for filming, I took my girls to the Horniman Museum, which I used to love. Thank you very much. See, I'm glad that you like the vibes base, because let's be honest, my vibes are either you love it or you don't like it at all. There's no like in between with my character. So I was at the Horniman Museum and I was with my girls. Do you love the Desserts After Dark series? I would love to know why. I find it really amusing that people seem to really love the series. I've just started posting it on YouTube. I used to only post it on Instagram, and then somebody who followed me on Instagram and TikTok was like, "Why do you not post it on TikTok?" And I was like, "Really?" And then I started posting it on TikTok, and it does better on TikTok than it does on Instagram. How ironic. Anyway, so the lady's like, "Oh, I love your videos." And the last time this happened at the Horniman Museum, like a year ago, it was two ladies in one day. And I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like my reaction was giving enough. I think I was just, my mind was elsewhere. I wasn't like in public April mode. And I know everybody thinks I love people, but those of you that know me, you understand that I don't actually, I'm not that good. I'm really good with people, but like when I'm in the zone, if that makes sense. And I was just in a mummy zone. So the point is, when the lady came up to me today, I was like, "April, we are not going to mess this up. This lady has been kind. She's come to you out of nowhere, and you are just going to deliver what she is expecting." And she's expecting on-screen April. So be on-screen April, even with your doodle plots, you know? But yeah, it was just funny. It was just a funny scenario. And then she started speaking to the girls about how lucky they are to eat what they eat, and they just looked at her like, "Yeah, this is our life. I don't understand what you're talking about." Did you love Simlan Islands? I absolutely love Simlan Islands, Sarah. I've been to Philippines, where everybody will tell you, "Oh, Simlan, go to Philippines if you think that Simlan Islands is amazing." I've been to the Philippines, not every island, because there are 7,700 plus islands, but Simlan is still my favorite island in terms of beaches. Big up yourself. Here we go, adventures. How are you? Um, you are outstanding. Oh, babes, thank you very much for the compliment. I like it. Outstanding is a big word. Apple Momo, how are you, my darling? So that was my first observation. The second observation was parents sometimes really don't make it easy for themselves. Um, have you seen this season of The Apprentice? Not at all, babe. I didn't even watch my own season. I was too busy trying to open my restaurant. So I've never watched Apprentice since I've been on it. We are good, still having food issues with the littlest one. Babe, what is going on? I keep on passing so many gorgeous women on your FYP. Isn't that a good thing, babes? You hope it's going well? What's going well, babe? Do you believe in Jesus? I'm not religious. Looks like an eating dissolve. I don't know what that means. Are you saying what I think you mean? Um, how Hi, when will I be back in Jamaica before the end of the year, babes? I don't give my travel plans ahead of time. You know, there are some crazy people on the internet. I'm not saying you're crazy on the internet, I'm just saying there's some people, but I will be home before the end of the year. Um, Disordered, really? Babe, your cooking videos help me manage my type 1 diabetes. Big up yourself, babes. The other thing, yeah, so sometimes parents just don't make it easy for themselves. I know we live in a world where we're not supposed to judge, but I'm just observing. So let me just paint the picture for you. First of all, before I get to that, oh, have you been to a doctor, babes, or a nutritionist, or someone that can assist? So I'm currently at what's the name? I'm doing a hotel collaboration, right? And this place is stunning. It's just stunning. High ceilings, it's giving luxury vibes. It's just beautiful, right? Way out of my budget. And I had this moment of like, even if you have a love-hate relationship with social media, let's just stick to the loving part, because quite frankly, I would not be here if it was not for social media doing what it needs to do, babes. Um, so I walk into, like, they have a kids area that's like arts and crafts, and this little boy. So my girls, I got hacked, by the way. So my what's it name, podcast got hacked, and somebody was showing golf for an hour, and so I got a strike on YouTube because it was a copyright infringement and I had to send an email. So basically, I'm trying to sort out the admin situation of my podcast having a strike because of this copyright infringement that happened at like 5 o'clock in the morning when I was clearly sleeping. And somebody from the hotel was like, oh, I can take the girls to this arts and crafts center if you need to quickly finish what you're doing. I'm like, that would be amazing. Like, that would be absolutely amazing. So the girls go with Uncle so and so to this place, right? And so I arrive about 20 minutes later. And when I arrive, there's a little boy who I want to say is like around 2 years old, and he is bawling, one piece of bawling. And this lady, who appears to be the nanny, is trying to like hush him. And I was like, so I said to Uncle so and so, how long has this child been bawling? He said, at least 10 minutes, probably longer. I was like, of continuous bawling, like the baby bawling real strong. And he's like, yeah. I was like, what is going on? He said, oh, he misses his mom because his mom left him here with the nanny, and his parents have gone to get massages. And I was like, I had so many questions. First of all, the parents are German, the nanny is Indonesian, so she does not speak German, and the son only speaks German. So they can't even communicate in the same language. Secondly, this is the nanny's first day, and you've just left your child with the nanny. I just feel like you're setting yourself up for failure. Whenever I used to have a nanny and I used to have to introduce my girls to somebody new, I would stay with them for like 2 weeks. Right? I would stay with them for 2 weeks, partly so that I can see what is going on, but also so that my children can get comfortable with the transition. And even when they're cool with the person, then I just stay in the corner, just in case they need like to look up and have some reassurance that I will be there. It is a process. I would never drop off my 2-year-old to just a new nanny in a foreign country where they do not speak the same language and then expect it to be okay. And again, we know our children, all children are different. You know that your child is sensitive. So this nanny is probably having like the worst day ever. The son is having the worst day ever. And respectfully, it is so that your parents can go and have massages. There are two of you. So you one go have the massage, and then one come back, and then the other one go and have a massage. And I was like, wow. It just felt heavy and traumatizing. My girls were very distracted. They kept staring because they're, as you know, we're a no tantrum household, babes. And so they just weren't sure what was going on. And it was all very loud. I also realized I'm very sensitive to noise. Very sensitive to noise. And so I just wanted to share with you that yes, I appreciate that life has its challenges and that parenting can be very difficult. But babes, there's no need to make it harder than it needs to be. So like, think it through. Let's just think it through. And I mean that with love and a touch of judgment, because, granted, I now appreciate that me judging the parents for taking these actions is not okay, but it's okay. I accept that. I love your style of parenting. I'd love a podcast of just you. Oh, really? What would you like of just me, babes? How you get a parent to go to therapy, because, oh, babes, I'm not sure you can really get anyone to go to therapy. I kind of think they have to find it on their own, if I'm honest. Hey, did you get the girls in a kindergarten? No, I need to do an updated video because I did fly to another country. I visited the school and it's not for me. So I will do an updated video. Are you feeling better mentally? To be honest with you, I feel like, so the video that I posted about being depressed, I was in that video probably about a 3 on the scale. I feel like at the minute I'm at a 5. So progress, babes, progress. Um, what do you think of natural consequences to teach your children? I've done many videos on natural consequences. I thoroughly believe in it, especially when your children are young. As they get older, I think it has to change. But I've done loads of videos. I would like, and to be honest with you, I definitely coined the phrase natural consequences. And then I saw it popping up everywhere. But I was a part of that movement. At least that's what I tell myself, babes. Um, your outlook on things, the way you articulate yourself, big respect. Thank you very much for being so kind and complimentary, babes. So yes, that was my thing about like just let's not make parenting harder than it needs to. Do you date? Would you consider it? Really great question. I am a big lover of love, babes. I love companionship. I think that we downplay the need for companionship in an effort to empower like single women, to empower women on a solo journey. And I think sometimes when the pendulum was swung so far one way, so everything was about marriage, you couldn't even open a bank account without your husband, and or you couldn't get a mortgage without your dad or a male figure. I completely understand how it was so far one way that we've needed to swing the other way, but it feels like we've swung so far the other way that we're now pretending that women don't need anybody. And I don't subscribe to that either. So to cut a long story short, I would 100% be open to dating someone, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I move country every month, usually a city or a place in that country every week. Where am I going to meet this person? And babes, you know me and my standards with my children. I'm just not an easy person to find a match with. Let's be honest. I'm the problem, and that's okay. But I love the concept. I love the idea. You love my top. Thank you very much, babes. It's actually an all-in-one. Should I just quickly show you? So this is the vibe. It has pockets. I love a bit pocket action, little cut-out sleeve action. So these guys, they are TPV in Thailand, but they have distribution in other places as well. And they sponsored my the Bangkok series, basically. So yeah, I do like it. And it's giving like resort, effortless, haven't even combed my hair literally, but a pop of color, babes. um, Thank you very much. Big up yourself from Ireland. Some people say that I sound Irish. Maybe that's why you find my voice soothing. I'm glad that you like it more. What do you think about Jamaica? Oh gosh, I saw this thing about Jamaican um, parliamentarians not speaking patois in parliament. So, from my understanding, the speaker was essentially just enforcing the rules, but clearly these rules need to be revisited. I do think that this idea that speaking patois is uneducated, uncouth, or beneath us is just ridiculous, and steeped in slavery, racism, and all of the things. And also within like Jamaican culture, I have met people who are like, oh, I don't know how to speak patois, because they want to give off this air that they are of such a class, babes, that they would never know how to speak patois. And this is coming from someone who was born in the UK, raised in Jamaica, and let's be honest, my accent is confused at the best of times and effed up, if we're being quite frank. So the idea that you could live or grow up in Jamaica and not speak patois, I just don't believe you. I think you're going out of your way to not speak patois. My girls, who, as you know, live all over the place. If you ask them what languages they speak, they will tell you that they speak English, they speak French, and they speak Jamaican patois, because they are very proud to do so. And so I think if anyone's going around pretending that they don't speak patois growing up in Jamaica, you are going out of your way to distance yourself from our culture. And that is something that I just disagree with. I think there is so much beauty and history in all aspects of our culture, whether it is food, whether it is language. I mean, just be proud. And clearly, the rules in Parliament need to change. It is 2026. We can't still be going off of these old rules that just are not applicable right now. So yeah. Anyway, that's my little preach about patois. Don't know if you've answered this, but why Did you remove the cornrows? Babes, my hair needed to wash. The cornrows were in there for too long. So I I was trying not to keep it in. It was in there for like 3 weeks. It's probably too long. I usually keep like braids in for 2 weeks when it's just like a cornrow flex. If it's a braided vibe, like individual braids, then I probably keep them in for too long because I keep them in for like 6 to 8 weeks, which I do not recommend. Your hair is slaying, babes. Let us not lie. You are very kind, but this, what is going on right now, is far from slaying. Okay, babes. Yes, I was born in the UK. So I was born. My claim to fame, babe, is that I was born where the royal family have their children at St. Mary's Hospital. That is where I was born, and then I went to Jamaica when I was 6 weeks. Everybody thinks I was born in Jamaica. No, I was born in the UK. Um, I'm good, my darling. How are you? I agree because majority of Jamaicans at basic level need 100%, 100%. I just moved to Freeport, Mobay from Trinidad. Jaden, send me a message, babes. I'm gonna be back in Jamaica and I'm gonna be filming content for my podcast. So just in case you don't know, my darling, I have a podcast which is Babes, How Did You Get Here? You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Just search A Life Elsewhere, obviously April Jackson. And I go around the world finding interesting people who have moved abroad. Freeport, Mobay. My dad has an office in Freeport. So my dad's in shipping. In Jamaica, our company is called JTS or Jamaica Trading Services. So I'm very familiar with that area, babes. And send me a message, and maybe you're interesting and you should come on the podcast and share your story. Small world. Um, where are we at? Scrolling through, and you guys know that I'm blind, so I have to squint. I really need to go get my eyes done. So I went to Turkey last year to get my eyes done, and then I did the test the day before the surgery. I opted out because I just didn't like the energy of the people. But babe, I need to get my eyes done because I'm too blind. It is awful. Um, Alida Mattel, 98% of Jamaicans speak patois. If you don't, you're not mingling. 100%. I agree. So true, a true 100%. And people think it's a status thing. And to me, like, why would you think that you need to distance yourself? Why are you looking down upon Jamaican patois? Don't get me wrong, I do believe there's a time and a place in the sense that if you're speaking to someone who is not Jamaican, I think that it is natural for us to code switch, as people say, or, to be able to, you amplify things or you tone down things depending on your audience. And this can be really natural. Like, you can be around Jamaicans in a foreign country and all of a sudden your patois goes up a notch, right? Because you're with your people. Or the same thing happens if it's opposite, right? You can be around people who aren't Jamaican and therefore you speak a particular way because you need to be understood. But the idea that you don't have the vernacular, I'm just not buying. And I think you're going out of your way to pretend that that is the case. Um, how would you suggest cutting out bad foods later on in life? Just go cold turkey, babe. Just tear off the band-aid and just dash with the bad food. Have you ever been to Barbados? Yes, I have been to Barbados 2 times. Where are we at? Hi, Carly. Big up yourself, baby. How is everything going? Babes, we're taking one day at a time. That's so cool. I hope to hear from you, my love. Um, yes, so I don't know how we got into Jamaican and patois. You motivate me so much, Kay. I like to hear it, babes. Big up yourself. And before that, we're talking about parenting. Just set up yourself for success. 100%. Parenting does not need to be hard, okay? I teach people how to be easier parents, I call it, all the time. A little bit of thinking, application, and it just does not need to be that difficult. What else is going on in our lives? The mosquitoes, them nyam me up bad, like really bad. And normally I don't get bitten by mosquitoes, but Lord, I've gotten bitten and it's just uncomfortable. What is happening tomorrow? Tomorrow we are having floating breakfast, and to be honest with you, it's a very like Indonesian thing. People get these villas and they get this floating breakfast. I don't really know why you want to eat your breakfast in the swimming pool, but we're doing it tomorrow, so we'll find out together. What else? Oh, it's been really funny to watch like the boyfriends sweat as they're trying to take content for their girlfriends. It really cracks me up. You can see the girlfriends who are displeased, you can see that they are dissatisfied, and the boyfriends like them just need to air because they're nervous that they're not taking the content correctly. But you know what? I do love the dedication. I find it quite cute. Um, but yeah, it does make me laugh. One thing about traveling, it will like take that whole public embarrassment out of you because you'll just film anywhere, anytime, and just not care because nobody knows you. And really and truly, who cares? Even when people do know you. As I said, we are staying at a place that for 3 nights would cost me nearly £2,000. I do not have £2,000 to spend on accommodation, okay? But here we are. We are here because your girl has been posting and has been dedicated. And as much as it's like a tug of war between me and social media, when you stay and you get these opportunities and you get to share them with your children, it's like, babes, post the content. I know everybody's like, post the content, and I'm not here to tell you like just post the content, but I am here to tell you that it definitely helps, keeps you motivated when you get to have these experiences. What age do you think screen time should start to be introduced? Really great question, Ashley. Initially, I thought 5 was a good age because in the 1970s, the average age that children were watching television was 5. Now that we've passed 5, I, I don't think it's necessary yet. Everything in life has an opportunity cost, and so people's lives will look a little bit different. But for me right now, the cost of screen time is far too great, and so I am leaning towards 7. It could be later. But yeah, we will watch screens eventually, just not right now. Someone told me recently that I resemble you, but I really don't see it, babes. It's like every day I get told that I look like Terry Carell, and I don't see it either. But you know, people see us differently, so maybe it's true. Um, Missy pull out the hair already. Babes, you should know that my content is always behind. So whilst on a live, I'm happy to give you kind of like in time updates, but that's because if you think about it, on a live it's like 1,000 people seeing it, right? When content is posted online and you get into the 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, I don't like people to know exactly where I am and what I'm doing. I know that I share a lot of our lives online, but I do put a lot of thought into how to do so, especially for my girls. So for example, if I do a hotel collaboration, they will always say that you need to post a story within 24 hours tagging the hotel. And I always tell them, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm never gonna do that. So I always make them change the contract because I never post stories in real time. I think that it's just something that doesn't sit well with me, and I think that it's important to protect my children in that way. So yeah, the hair video was taken a long time ago. Hi Nicole, how are you, babes? You love the nails. Thank you. The nails are quite old. We need to get them done again. I think I'm going to go back to my Jamaican colors. So the girls chose the nails this time. And yes, I'm glad that you like them. Hi, Hema. How are you, babes? Oh, scrolling through. Nelly, big up yourself, baby. Where we at? Okay, we're back. We're back in real time. Um, Hi there, new here. Namibia, big up yourself, babes, and welcome to the live. They did great with the selection. I'll let them know. They'll be very happy to hear it. Um, yeah, I was only supposed to do my nails and keep it for a couple of weeks, and then it just became like a thing. Um, so we'll keep them for a bit longer, but it's not healthy. Just to be clear, I'm not promoting going to get gel and put your hand in the machine. I'm very aware that it's not good for you. But also, you know, I don't really like my hands, and so having nice nails just makes me feel a little bit better. Um, you want a baby so bad, but you just don't know. Chin, what don't you know, babes? Hi, Ari, I'm new here. I love your content. You're from Kenya. Big up yourself. I love the global vibes. Check out the global vibes, babes. Kerry Berry, how has your weekend been? Honestly, babes, it never makes a difference what day of the week it is. I have to double check what day of the week it is all the time because I don't really know. It's just another day, to be fair. But that's not to say that it was bad at all. How do you avoid getting frustrated yourself with the children? Love your content. Really great question. And I need to do a video on this because I was talking about it with a friend today. That I'm going through this phase of just making sure that my girls know that they can come and tell me when they do something wrong or if they spill something or have an accident, right? But it doesn't mean that I don't get frustrated. It just means that I think of the long game. And a really good example, and this will be my last story, but a really good example is that one of my girls dropped dragon fruit on a cushion when we were at an Airbnb. And if you know, it was the pink dragon fruit, bright pink, and the cushion was cream. And I was having a shower, and I immediately heard them both say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, mommy." And I just knew that it wasn't going to be a good look. And I knew I had to stay calm and keep the vibes right. So they brought the cushion to me. They said, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And I said, "Don't worry, we'll scrub it out." And my inside voice, babes, was just saying a lot of colorful language. And I was just like, oh my gosh, why is it when you're eating, you can't just put food in your mouth, right? Like, why you have to drop the food on the cushion? And it's on the people in cushion. It's not even my cushion. But this was all going on in my head. On the outside, I was like, okay, babe, so we're going to wipe it quickly. And to be fair, I was able to get the stain out because they came and told me straight away. So I was able to say to them, guys, it's amazing that you told me straight away. Thank you very much, because no, it hasn't stained and we can go back to being careful, right? And the point is, the reason I shared this story with you is because 100% I was frustrated. I was very frustrated. But I was thinking bigger picture, right? It is not about dragon fruit at the age of 5. The reason I go through what I go through now is so that when you're older and it's a case of drugs, right? Like your brethren are trying to get you to do some white stuff in the bathroom at a party, that you are going to be like, actually, no, that's not my vibe. And then you're going to come home and we're going to talk about it. Or when a man is trying to take you for idiot and you're like, I want to talk to my mother about this because I want to hear her perspective. And I know that she's not going to come with some antiquated, judgy vibes. So the point is that the reason I do not get frustrated with my children now is because I want that I am setting the foundation so that later when they're older and there are actual problems and things for us to discuss and bounce back and forth, that I am their go-to because they know that the vibe is going to be right irrespective of how I might be thinking on the inside. I hope that long-winded story is helpful. I don't know if I'm actually ready physically or mentally. Babes, if you feel like you are not ready physically or mentally, and that is not coming from like a protective trauma place, then I would say that you're probably not ready. What I mean by that is I thought I didn't want children anymore because my mother left me, and I thought, oh gosh, maybe I'm gonna repeat the same like traumas from my childhood to my children, right? So I was trying to protect my children. That I can tell you from experience, have the children. Like if you're trying to protect yourself and your children from things that you're worried about, that you're concerned about, the fact that you're concerned means that you're not going to do them. I'm confident you'll be good. But if you are worrying about having children physically and mentally just because you're not there yet, then babes, do the work, get there, and then have them. And more importantly, choose the right partner, because even when you think you've chosen the right partner, babes, I can tell you from experience, people will surprise you. But at least give yourself a fighting chance to have support, right? You may still not have the support because that's the way the world works sometimes, but at least give yourself the best possible start. It's made such a difference to my autistic son. Babes, I'm not sure. Oh, how did you avoid getting... My content has made a difference to your autistic son? Babes, Rachel, big up yourself. What's crazy is that I never speak on any situation to do with any child who has additional needs because, babe, I have no experience. So I'm really happy to hear from you that it is helpful, all of this. Yep, yep, yep. How do you feel about preschoolers wearing makeup to their graduations? Never. That's how I feel in a nutshell. I said this yesterday, but I'm very old-fashioned, and that's okay for me and my life. My children do not have their ears pierced. They don't even have nail polish. right? They've seen other little children their age with nail polish. They understand that it's not happening at this age. And for me, it's not even just about the makeup, it's about the state of mind and what are we prioritizing for our children and what is the message that we're sending. And my dad, one of his favorite sayings was, you have one chance to be a child, a lifetime to be an adult. At the time, it really annoyed me. Now I completely get it. I would never have a preschooler in makeup. I would never have someone graduating from prep school in makeup. Um, when I was Miss Jamaica, I had just turned 19. I didn't even know the difference between powder and foundation. So that tells you. And I won Miss Jamaica Babes. So there is no need. There's just no need, in my opinion. Bright pink but tastes like cucumber. I actually really don't like cucumber. So it's even more neutral than that. I'm not sure why everybody's laughing, but I'm glad everybody's having a good time. See, that's why we must remain calm as parents. 100% babes, we have to be the adult in the room, trying to regulate our own emotion. I think that's the hardest thing about parenting. 100%, I think that is the hardest thing about parenting is regulating our own emotions and being able to think big picture, keep ourselves outside of the present moment that might be emotional, and think what is the best move. Like, it's like chess. It's like, take the time, analyze the board, what is the best move? And that is what I help a lot of people do. I help them see a different perspective. I help them understand their own behavior, because I think a lot of times when people are talking to you about parenting courses or helping you be a better parent, they're talking about controlling a child. And I actually think that parenting and how to be a really good parent is about controlling yourself, not about controlling the child. Um, Never saw a female so real. Babes, pick up yourself. Sarah, my baby's 18 months. Am I responsible for his paddying? Babe, babe, I don't know what paddying is. I'm very sorry. Let me know what paddying is, and I'm more than happy to share my opinion. Paddying? Is that a typo? And if it is a typo, I'm trying to think what would the word be? Ari, your Jamaican accent is everything. Thank you very much. It's very confused, but I'm always grateful when somebody gets the vibe. I want to have children so that I can do better than my mother. Yes, I feel you on that. Leah, pick up yourself, babes. I struggle with binge eating disorder. Isn't that crazy that you've said that, Leah? First of all, big up yourself for getting through any struggle. I tell people all the time, life is hard. It has its challenges, whether it's a mental struggle, a physical struggle. Like, babe, struggle is real, right? And it's funny because I was talking to a girl. She was my au pair a few years ago, and she's now helping me. She's assisting me with like finding guests for the podcast, and she's amazing. She's even better than I thought she was going to be in terms of this assistant role. And we were talking because she's calling these potential guests for the podcast, and she's like, nobody wants to talk about the negativity in their lives. She's like, I could talk to you about so many negative things. And her and I started laughing because like I was like, yo, maybe that's what we should do. We should just sit and talk about the negativity in our lives, right? From a learning perspective, not from a wallowing in self-pity perspective. And she was just like, what is wrong with humans? Why they're just so protective of their image that they don't want to talk about hard things. And so the point is, I want you sharing this with me. First of all, the irony that you're saying that my content is helping you with your eating disorder, because so many people are telling me that I am going to give my children an eating disorder. But secondly, I just really wanted to give you respect for being able to say what you're struggling with, especially at a time where it feels like nobody's comfortable saying their truth if it's not like cute. I got my ears pierced when I was 12, 13. Me too. 12. I was supposed to say 12 o'clock. Lord, me tired. Where do you live? Baby, I don't live anywhere. April Jackson, you will always be the baddest Jamaican and Nigerian babe on TikTok. I'm not Nigerian. I'm Nigerian in the sense that I am ancestrally Nigerian. I did my DNA test, and yes, I am from Nigeria, as are lots of Jamaicans, babes. We are the rebels of the slave ship, so them have to dash us off the boat. But in terms of, I need to know more about Nigerian culture. I would love to go to Nigeria, for example. I keep saying to people who I know from Nigeria, you need to take me to Nigeria. But babes, Umzi, thank you very much for the good vibes. Scrolling through and it disappeared. Someone said, hello, my darling, and a couldn't say hello back. Oh, Tash, big up yourself, baby. I love watching you. Is that Smash Motherhood? Has Smash Motherhood become SM? Or is that something else? And I hope to be at least half as good as a mom as my future children as you are. L, big up yourself. Speaking of which, I have Smashing Motherhood t-shirts. They just arrived today. I'm very excited about them. I do think the text is a little bit low, so I'm going to adjust it so the text is a little bit higher. But I have Smashing Motherhood t-shirts, I have My Darling You're Welcome t-shirts, and I have a My Darling You're Welcome apron. And it's just so cute and fun. I cannot wait to create some content with the new vibes. So I just thought I'd share. I nearly forgot to share that. Your recent post about depression, thank you. I feel like people don't recognize it unless you're on your knees. Ren, big up yourself. You know, I nearly didn't share that post about depression because I didn't think I was really enlightening anybody about anything new or giving a new perspective. And then the response that I have got, even privately, from that post has again reminded me that everything happens for a reason. But also, people are talking about the stigma. And to be honest with you, I feel like people talk about mental health so much nowadays that I didn't realize there was still a stigma. I think sometimes it's over talked in the sense that people are not careful with their words. So the words like depression and anxiety are being thrown around even in circumstances that they may not necessarily apply, which is why in that video I was very clear that when I say depression, I have been diagnosed, I have been through the medication. Like, it's not just I'm having a bad day, because obviously a part of depression is feeling that you're having a bad day, but you know, there's having a bad day that's normal, and then there's like depression. It's not the same. So anyway, the point is I'm glad that you found it useful. A paddy is another word for a tantrum. Babe, sorry, I didn't know about that. So I think you were asking me if you are responsible for your child's tantrums. Now, many people will go around and tell you that tantrums are perfectly normal and that they are developmental, and I do not doubt it. You know, they say that when your children can't express themselves, then they will tantrum. And I don't necessarily disagree, but I do think that as a society, we have normalized tantrums in a way that not all of the tantrums that children are having are the natural developmental ones. And the reason I say natural is because what the hell is natural? You know what I mean? But I do think that there's a way to reduce tantrums. I do think that we need to consider our child's environment. I stand on the fact that my children have never had a tantrum, and I don't think it's coincidence. And my course, Managing Tantrums Like a CEO, is the most popular course that I sell because tantrums are a problem. And I'd like to think that I continue to help parents think about their environment, think about their behavior, think about the structure that they have created or not created that is going to impact their children's tantrums. But I don't think that the amount of tantrums that I see, I don't think that's normal. Right? Like, I don't think that that is a thing. And my sister, she messaged me the other day. She was with a friend of hers who has a young son, and apparently he was having a tantrum all day. The whole day was just tantrum, tantrum, tantrum. And she messaged me and she goes, I just could not stop thinking that my girls, as in my twins, have never had a tantrum. And she's like, I could not stop thinking that your girls would only cry when it was time to go to bed or if they hurt themselves. And this idea that, oh, well, we shouldn't even consider, you know, addressing tantrums because they're absolutely normal. I think sometimes we are feeding into these tantrums in ways that we might not even recognize. So I'm not saying that all parents are to blame for tantrums, but I am saying that all of the tantrums that I see happening, they are not all necessary for development. And I think a part of that is addressing our children's needs, and is really being in tune with our children. Even some people ask me, what do you do when your children don't listen to you? And I've said this before, but my children always listen to me. They always listen to me. And I don't think that that is by accident. I think it is because I've gone to great lengths to make sure that I am in tune with my children, that I have earned their respect, that I have created an environment that makes it easy for them to be absolutely magical. I hope that answers the question. Scrolling through. Where did it go? Why does it do that? So annoying. Oh, you meant so much. I like SM being Smashing Motherhood, babes. but I also like so much too. You love my skin. Thank you. You know, I don't, people compliment me on my skin all the time, and I always think that it could be a bit better. But maybe that's like the grass is always greener on the other side kind of vibes. Tony Black, good evening. What percentage Nigerian am I? No, no. So like at the time I did the swab thing for the DNA, and I'm from Nigeria, as in like back in the day before the slave ships, it just said you're Nigerian. I can't remember the exact percentage. I can't remember exactly where it was. Maybe I should do it again because I feel like also this was old technology. This was back in the day. This was like nearly 20 years ago. And one of the things I said to the researchers at the time is that I would like to know the steps. Like, so, okay, start off in Nigeria and then the steps. And they're like, oh, they didn't think about that. It was because they weren't black. So they said that they didn't think that we wanted to know the steps. Why would we not want to know the steps? I literally save your videos so that when or if I do have children, I can always go back to them and see how to raise them. See, big up yourself, baby. A, thank you very much, my darling. How are you? I saw another video you said that your girls don't have tantrums, and I worry that I might have done something to start them. Babes, I'm not saying that you did something to start them, but I am saying that if tantrums are a problem in your life, then there are things that can be done to minimize them. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I just don't think that having a tantrum all the time is necessary for this childhood development. I think it is a sign that things aren't quite right. Share the merch. Oh, should I do that? I didn't even know how to do that. Ren, I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna turn up here selling my stuff on TikTok. It seems like that's what everybody does these days, actually. Why didn't I think of that? Check you out, Ren. How do I lift my energy even through hard times, babes? Whew, I'm currently in the journey with you. What I would say is that don't try and rush your way out of the hard time. And what I mean by that is that I think sometimes the advice is to, get yourself out of the hole, so to speak. And I think before we get ourselves out of the hole, also disclaimer, everybody's different. I'm just sharing what works for me. I stopped trying to get myself out of the hole really quickly, and I've accepted that sometimes I need to sit with the emotions. I need to unpack the emotions. Just for transparency, I have been hospitalized before because for the S word that will probably get me banned on here. So when I tell you that I've been through the depths, I'm not saying it lightly, right? And so my point is whilst I think it's important to sit in the hole, it's important to also sit in the hole with a level of consciousness that keeps you away from the S, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm speaking to around my children in code. And so the sitting in the hole does not mean that you are plummeting closer to the S. It means that you're just kind of leveling out for a little. And then, so like this past whole sitting for me took about 2.5 weeks. And then after that, I try and focus on the things that I need to be level-headed. So again, different people need different things. I need achievement, and I don't feel like I've had enough achievement recently, and I think that that is starting to take its toll. So after I was sitting in the hole and realizing that it is the lack of ticking boxes and achievement things that I think is contributing to the whole, then I started analyzing what are the small things that I can do to get those badges of achievement. And so the reason I share that with you is because you might need different things. Your thing might not be badges of achievement. Your thing might be companionship. Your thing might be friendship, not necessarily intimate friendship. Or it might be intimate friendship. Like, who knows what your thing is? But once you've sat with it, then you can decide what your thing is, and then you can take the small daily steps to get that thing, whatever it is. I think a lot of people have lots of misconceptions of what depression is, and they self-diagnose. 100% Tash, I agree with you. Devi Junebug, big up yourself, baby. Do your girls have a bedtime? 100%. My children have a bedtime. So it used to be 7 o'clock. It got extended to 8 o'clock about 3 months ago. I'm thinking 7 is too late for my toddler. Again, check your child's behavior. So my girls were 7 from they were 8 months old. That's what worked for us. But if you think that it's too late for your child, then babes, change it. Um, where are we at? Do you know what triggers the darkness? Yes. So I need success, and success is very broad. It's very gray. But for me, a part of the trigger is I need to feel like I am achieving something. And recently, I feel like I haven't been achieving anything. I need to lose my weight. Okay, cool. I'm not sure where that came from, babes. Um, Scrolling back through. Sarah, baby, thank you. I'm glad that you received my words in the way in which they were supposed to be received. We all know that parenting can be a sensitive issue, babes, and I'm not here to preach. Um, Scrolling back through. Hey, darling, do you have advice on how to get an 8-year-old to try more food? I want to help my brother. Again, so the 3 things that I talk about in these courses are managing tantrums, which is the most popular, how to feed a child, and the third one is parent like a CEO, right? So in terms of how to get your brother, sorry, to eat more things, a quick breakdown is to lead by example, and also just really be careful of your language and your energy around food. It is deeper than you think. Like you are communicating not just verbally but in other ways, right? So nonverbal communication is also really important. The other thing, your brother's 8, babes, get your brother in the kitchen. If you're cooking more, you're gonna eat more, you're gonna be more interested in food. And then the third thing I would say is really like fuel the curiosity. So that might be that each week you guys choose a different country and you dive into the food of that country and make it interesting, make it fun, make the vibes at the dinner table, exciting for him. 8 years old is a lovely age. Get with the vibes and big up yourself for trying to get your 8-year-old into more food. Also take him shopping with you, right? Like get him involved in the entire process. You say you're not religious, so what do you believe in? So, in terms of that's a really strange question. So I believe that I don't know what the hell is going on in the world. That's what I believe. I'm more than happy to acknowledge my ignorance as it comes to religion. So I think that's the best way to answer. I respect all religion. The main reason I'm put off by religion is because it is the number one cause of war, and that kind of makes me uncomfortable. I'm just like live and let live, let people do what they need to do. The other thing is, I think a lot of principles from religion I have just because I have a desire to be a good human, right? Like I'd like to think that when I leave the earth, I left it better than I found it. Um, but also, I'm not educated enough, babes. I don't know enough. As I said, I'm more than happy to admit my ignorance. But I respect religion. I think that faith is a beautiful thing, and I do love the fact that so many people are guided by their faith in unquestionable ways, in which I do envy a lot of times, to be honest with you. I think that what you were going to do, sell to the public, I think that what you were going to do, babes, gangsta Naz, I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm very sorry. Um, hey April, my 3-year-old hates dinner. She said she hates dinner at school. Uh, is there a question coming? I'm not sure what's happening. Do you have any advice for someone wanting to go solo to Thailand as a single mom of a 2-year-old? Book the ticket. I know that might be not what you're looking for. I'm not sure what advice. It's a great destination if that's what you're asking me. You can definitely solo travel with your child. There's plenty for your child to do, whether it's in Bangkok with museums and lots of culture, and it's a very child-friendly city, Bangkok, but also there's the beaches and the island vibes of like Krabi or Phuket. Yeah, 100%. Book the ticket, go have the time of your life. That's my advice. Um, Scrolling back up. Why does it do this? what time would they usually wake up if they go to bed at 7? They usually wake up between 6:30 and 7, even when they go to bed at 8. It's the same time, it doesn't change. Hi, dear. How did you lose your postpartum weight after twins? I'm 5 months postpartum. Babe, big up yourself. 5 months is nothing, first of all, so slow your roll. I hope that you are loving motherhood. I hope that you are enjoying this process and just really taking it all in. And your weight should not be the focus at 5 months. I'll be honest with you. I think it was quite easy for me to lose my postpartum weight because I was breastfeeding like a machine. So that definitely helped. I also tell people all the time that stress keeps me thin. If I was a stress eater, I'd be very large, but it's the opposite. And I am stressed most of the time in my life, so I would not recommend it. In terms of other ways, I would always remind people focus on what you eat. We have this idea that you can eat whatever you want and go to the gym. That's a lie. Focus on what you eat. Weight loss, I believe, is over 70% what you eat. So focus on eating the right things and making sure it's nutrition rather than, oh, what am I craving today? I have a boy and a girl, twins. One done, big up yourself. I would like to teach them a second language. Any tips? Yes, I'm about to post a video on YouTube. I think I'm gonna post it Monday, which is basically it's a long form video on how I made sure that my children's first language was French, even though I'm not French and there's no connection to French. So I would tell you, one done, to go and subscribe to that and check out the video on Monday. I think I'm going to post it on Monday. But the main thing I would tell you is that focus on immersion. You are only going to be able to teach your twins another language if they are completely immersed. Going to a class for an hour a week or half an hour a week is just never going to do it, babes. I tried to rush back to work after burnout, and my therapist was like, no, girl, we need to take a second. Having to sit with the feeling has been really revealing and helped me loads. Amy, big up yourself, and thank you so much for sharing that. Leah, April, I just had the yummiest snack you should try with your kids. Corn, crackers, and butter. If dessert and fruit, corn, crackers, and butter. Oh, do you have, oh, we did the advice for Thailand. We did the I hate dinners. Where are we at? Do you have a twin? No, babes, I don't have a twin, but I do have twins in my family. In every generation on my dad's side, we have twins. What can I do to help her eat at home? I like sticking to simple meals. Again, similar to what I was saying to the person with the 8-year-old brother, would definitely apply. I'm still breastfeeding at 18 months. What age did you stop? How did you stop? Sarah, first of all, big up yourself for breastfeeding. It is no joke. I think I need to do some breastfeeding content because I haven't done it in a while because a lot of people get angry. But at the same time, I really believe in breastfeeding. And I think that it should be spoken about a lot more and encouraged a lot more because it is very, very difficult. I breastfed my girls until they were 2.5 years old. The goal was originally 2 years old because that is what is recommended by the WHO, but I went to 2.5. And I knew I had a television project coming up and they were drinking a lot less. They were really using it for comfort. So I eventually reduced the feed to just one nightly feed. And then after that, I replaced the feed with a book. So you still had that closeness, you still had that intimacy, you just weren't having my nipple in your mouth. You know what I mean? And it was a really smooth transition, to be honest with you, because they weren't drinking that much by that point. Hi Tani, how are you, babes? We're doing fine, my darling. I feel like I haven't seen you or heard from you in ages. How are you doing? Are you taking care of yourself? That's amazing. Such a good idea. I'm glad that you think it's a good idea. Mr. Greg Wallace in the house. Big up yourself, babes, as always. I was talking about you today, actually, to my dad. So your ears must have been ringing. Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about breastfeeding. Not because I have any desire to make people feel bad, but because I feel that there's a lot of misconceptions around the fact that, formula is just as good. And respectfully, I just don't believe that. How did you manage breastfeeding with twins? Do they feed at the same time or one after the other? I always tandem fed. So even now, when my girls ask for a hug or they want to be picked up, I pick up both of them at the same time. And my children are over 5 years old and they are not light. But I've always had this thing that I just don't want one to feel like I chose one over the other. Um, so plodding along, babes. I hope it's more of a sprightly skip than a plod. But yeah, so I always tandem fed them, and basically my wrists were so strained that I used to have to always wear wrist support because you know when they're in that alien phase and them can't lift up them head, it was a lot of weight in my hands all the time. And as you know, babies are eating all the time. But again, I think that that has contributed to my parenting in the sense of enjoying the parenting because I was able to always be very close to my children. Um, and again, because we're no screens, and when they're breastfeeding and there's eye contact, there's physical closeness, I think all of these things help me and my girls bond in ways that perhaps other people haven't had the opportunity to do so. And I think that that also contributes positively to parenting. I look 16, summer love, you are very kind, but these laugh lines, babes, are not 16. Um, Thank you for being so kind with the compliments, babes. Okay, so lovely people, I came on here to talk about what's it name? To talk for 30 minutes and we're going on to an hour. Faith, tips on getting into a beauty pageant. Why is everybody asking about pageants? Is it pageant season? Faith, I shared a video about everything that I would do differently if I was to be Miss Jamaica Universe all over again. If you can't find a video, it's not that far behind, but if you can't find a video, send me a message. I'll tag you in the video because I think that's a good place to start. And maybe the live tomorrow, we should just talk about pageants because I feel like every day somebody's talking to me about a pageant. And I'll tell you some pageant stories. And yeah, that's what we'll do. I'll do a little Q&A and we can have that live tomorrow. Maybe I'll try and do it TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll do the trilogy, babes. So yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about my pageant experience. No, baby, I left Thailand ages ago. What has been your favorite desserts after dark so far? Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. Odette in Bali in Ubud delivered some delicious desserts. Obviously, we know that I love mango sticky rice. When it hits, babes, it hits. I did like, surprisingly, one of the surprising ones was the what's it named, the Dubai chocolate chewy cookie. I didn't even know about it, to be honest with you, and then I got it by accident, and I did like the textures of that. Do you ever plan to come back to the UK? I don't think so, baby. So normally I'm filming now. Normally I film Cooking with the Stars and as a judge for MasterChef. And thankfully MasterChef asked me to come back several times for different series this year. But unfortunately, they're not filmed together. So for me to come for just like a day or two wasn't good enough. And then Cooking with the Stars at the beginning of the year, they said that they wanted me back and then they changed their mind last minute. So I'm not going to be on that series this year. And so I didn't come back to film that. And so in a nutshell, I don't think I'll be back in the UK. Maybe never again, as in to live. My dad lives there, so I'll always come back and say hi. But yeah, I don't think we'll be there. Are you planning to move back to Jamaica? Would love to see you host Smash. I would love to move back to Jamaica. Maybe now that you've planted those seeds, I need to reach out to some people and see how we could do that. I would love, that is my dream. My dream is to move back home. Last time I checked Smash Jamaica, never really pay good, but I would love to be involved in Jamaican television. So I like what you're saying. I like that you've put it out to the universe. Maybe I need to try and follow up. But a lot of times you have to wait for people to DIE before you can get those kind of opportunities. And I love Neville. But yeah, anyway, on that note, lovely people, I've been here for an hour and it was supposed to be a little quickie, but turned out to be a bit longer. As always, thank you very much for taking time. Yes, now that Tammy left, you were the first person. Oh, you're thinking CVM Sunrise. Um, but thank you for thinking of me. I will follow up on those seeds that you have planted. Have an amazing day, night, weekend, whatever is coming up. Tomorrow we will talk all things pageants. Yes, I think I'm probably going to be single for the rest of my life. No, I've not dated since I've had the twins. Yes, Sunrise, babes, you're a joker. You love the daily lives. I'm glad that you love the lives. I will check in tomorrow and I'll also try and get some questions from you so that it's more of a focused live. Chaz, big up yourself, baby. People, I'm about to choke. I don't know on what, so I'm going to get some water. Thank you. Big up yourself, and I will be here same time tomorrow. Bye.